Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here. I'm looking at some of the hands I played at the speed poker games yesterday, and we're going to look at them in the GTO analyzer. So all these should be GTO existent spots, although for some reason some of them probably won't be for reasons I don't always understand. And we've got Simon here with us. He's been doing a couple of videos with us this morning, and he's sticking around. He said for 45 minutes, so we'll probably just wait till we'll do this till Simon's gone, then we'll call it a day on the video. We're going to try and rush through them a little bit on this part of it, and then we'll take a bit more time if we make any blunders or anything. So we open small blinds here. These HUD stats, I don't know if they're accurate or not. In fact, I should probably just turn them off because it's you can't like get. You'll know, Simon. You'll play party poker. Your HUD stats don't stock up over days and days, do they?
No.
Because they don't come through their anonymous hand histories. So they'll be accurate for this session probably, but not accurate long term. So we open, villain calls, we flop. Not very much. I guess I'm just going to c-bet this quite often with gut shot, backdoor flush draw. We do, villain calls, turn a flush draw. I think we could check or bet here. I think when we bet, probably use bigger sizes or check, I guess. I go with over bet. Okay. Bit spicy.
It's a spicy bet.
And then we river a pair, and I guess at this point we have no bets whatsoever. And hope villain checks, I guess. Villain checks back, and we lose to King 9. So what we do now is I've already loaded this one. We go into GTO Wizard and we review the hand. So it's already in there. As you can see, we've actually got a tick, so we haven't blundered this hand. Let's see if we could have done anything different at any point. So pre-flop, it's a bog standard open. You can see there, the green box is what we did, and it's got the 2 ticks in it. So that's a good start, but obviously everyone knows it's a mandatory open, and it actually wants overbet straight away. Right, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not something I ever find, and I play a lot of poker. This is not something anyone's finding. The amount of times I face overbet when I've called in the big blind on any board texture is close to never. Literally close to never. I don't know about your experience, but do you often see overbet?
No, not at all.
I don't think anyone watches this video sees overbet very often. So interesting that we should be doing that. And it's because we've got we haven't got a good hand, but we've got a strong range advantage, king, queen, X, bone dry, no flush draws, and we do have equity to improve significantly. So I guess that's why it's doing it. We just got a lot of fold equity, and sometimes when we get called, we get bailed out. So I'm presuming that's why it's doing it. But obviously our bet size is fine. It's the second highest option. So it's basically mostly using small bet and over bet. And that's something that we can remember quite easily. Going forward now. When we flop something like this, we know we can use 2 different sizes, and they're going to be small or polar. So that's quite an easy thing to remember. It's also going to be very easy to miss a play as well, I would imagine. So we do bet, villain calls. Turn here, it does overbet, but not the size. So again, I'm on the right lines with my overbet here. I went too big though. Apparently, I should only use this size 4%, whereas we should be betting 125%, 61%. So again, I'm not marking myself down for this, even though it's only a 1 tick. I've found the overbet. This is just like a small sizing error, so I'm not marking myself down for this. And then river's a pure check. So yeah, I'm giving myself, even though we didn't get 2 ticks, I'm happy with that. So there's no reason to bother myself. And this is just what we'll do, Sam. I've got like 20 odd hands to review, and this is what I do. When I've done stuff that isn't miles out of line, I'm like, right, okay, not going to spend a load of time on that one, and then I'll spend more time on the ones that do need more time spending on them. The next one here we have aces, open, obviously mandatory 3-bet, 4-bet. Think standard here is just a call. Pretty sure when we're facing a 4-bet in position call, we have very few. I think we probably 5-bet stuff like ace king. Maybe we 5-bet jam kings, but I think aces is just like almost every shit rig in the world knows to flat call aces here, which is what we do. Face a bet, no reason to raise, I wouldn't have thought. Turn brick. He bets 1 big blind.
1 big blind. Wow.
So I guess we just have to treat this as a check, but maybe GTO Wizard just says this is non-existent because this isn't a thing. So we might be in non-existent territory here. Just hang on 1 second, mate. My mum's calling me. She's got a big habit of phoning me mid-videos. Won't be a tick. Just going to mute.
No worries.
There we go, and we're back. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be in a non-existent spot. I guess we just treat this as a check, and we just make a bet, don't we?
Yeah.
I guess the question is, if we check, say, what size would we go? I think I'd probably just go 1/3 here, probably. So I imagine I'm going to see myself go about 20 something bigs. 18.
18.
Cool.
Equals.
Bit of a shit river. It's a 3-bet
Yeah.
pot, though. So it's like, what 6x does he really have? He probably can't have many straights here, I wouldn't have thought. It's a 4-bet pot. In fact, no, he doesn't. It's a 4-bet pot. He doesn't have straights. He doesn't have sets. I think we just have a mandatory all in. And he calls, and he had that.
Oh,
okay. I don't know what he was doing.
No.
But let's see. Let's see how we got on. So we upload, paste, analyze. 2 ticks the whole way. Happy days. So we're not going to spend massively long amount of time analysing this. 3-bet, 4-bet, yeah, we're always just calling, but we know that because we're getting the 2 ticks. Always just calling the flop. So I'd say there's not really that much. Once we see the 2 ticks, there isn't that much point in reviewing it. I mean, it is calling here, like fucking. Even though it's one big blind, it's still wanting to call this much. This is nonsense, surely. But anyways, never mind. And then river, he checks, and we just have like it's just pure jam. Happy days, 2 ticks. Fucking love to see it. We love to fucking see it. There won't all be 2 ticks. I fucking promise you that. On to the next one is Queen Open. Small blind, small 3-bet. So when I see this 3-bet size, I'm usually thinking fish, shit reg at best, really bad reg at best, because this size just not a thing, or fish. And because it's yours this size, again, this might end up being non-existent. I'm not sure. But we know it's not a good player. We call. Don't think I suppose we could 4-bet, but I'd be interested to see what frequency this 4-bets, because I don't really fucking know, to be honest. I should know, but I don't. Shit flop. Villain checks. Is our hand bad enough to bluff with here? That's the question, I guess. I think it's very easy to just check back because we've got showdown value, got ace, queen, high, etc. But is our hand bad enough we want to start bluffing? I guess we'll find out. I guess GTO would tell us. I don't know. That's why we do. That's why we do this study. Turn queen, happy days. Villain bets, just call. River 7, villain bets small. I guess the question is, do we have any raises? Because we never fold, but do we ever raise? So these are 2 questions I'm going to be asking the solver to give us the answer to, I guess. Because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to call here, but I presume versus this size is going to be some raising. Villain had king queen.
King queen, yeah.
So let's see what the solver says. 1 tick, so we didn't butcher it at least. And again, when we don't butcher, I don't spend a lot of time. But I am interested to see if there are any river raises. Well, there can't be because river's got 2 ticks. So it's the flop where we fucked up. The flop, I guess, has some bets, which is what we're asking. Do we bluff? Do we just call pre? We check 40%, but we bet 55, and I'm guessing that's just as a bluff. It can't be or is it for value? If we bet that small, could we theoretically be betting for value? Guess we could be. Let's see what it's fucking betting. So you click this little fucking crown thing there, whatever it is, fucking them caps that clever people wear at university. So if we bet this turn, so bet this flop. So what's happened here? Pre-flop check. So if we're betting, say we bet 5, what does he then? So check, bet 5, small blind here. I mean, obviously it's losing to ace king, ace queen's calling, but so we're losing to all these pairs. But I guess we're just getting loads of value from like ace jack. Ace, we're not getting value from ace 8, we're getting value from ace 7, we're not getting value from ace 4, value from ace jack here, getting value from ace 10, getting value from queen jack, getting value from jack 10. Yeah, I guess that's why they're getting value from queen 10. It's just value bet, isn't it? I don't think it's really bluffing. I don't think it's expecting many better hands to fold, is it? Like, are there any better hands folding here? Where is folds coming from?
Supposed to fold, is it?
Fold ace queen a little bit. Yeah, it's not really. It's never folding anything better. But it's just value. I guess it's betting 5 because it's basically just trying to value bet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess so. That's why it's doing that. Because I was thinking, there's any bluffing on the flop, and it's betting, but we can't interpret that bet, in my opinion, as a bluff because it's actually, a lot of the hands it's calling. It's not really making anything fold, but it is getting called by a worse. So I guess that's why it's using that size. So again, these aren't things. We're never going to learn all these things, and they're never going to stick. But if we do it often enough, you just hope every time you just learn 0.5% something new. And if you're doing it every single day, 3 months down the line, you just hope you just better, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's nothing I'm going to do here that's going to be like fucking. I'm not going to have many epiphanies. But I'm not doing it for that. I'm just doing it for, right, okay, it wants the small bet. Why does it want a small bet? Because I was thinking we want to bet this flop, but I was thinking we want to bluff. But really, we're not bluffing. We're just denying equity to some things. Because I would have wanted to bet a bigger size, and it would have been to deny equity. Whereas this is saying, nah, we're just going to bet small. And we're just going to, value bet, basically. So that's, that's what I've learned from this, is that I shouldn't really be betting here as a bluff. I should be betting here small to just basically value bet. Maybe once in a blue moon, villains overfold in the real world too.
Yeah.
And then we're getting value. Obviously, we're value owning ourselves sometimes against some slightly better hands. But yeah, that's why that's my interpretation of why he's doing it anyway. And then we play the hand through. He bets, we call. And I was asking if there's any raises on the river, and it's just pure calling. There is a tiny amount of all in.
Yeah.
Tiny amount, but just calling. And I was wondering if there were any raises, but I guess it's because it can still have. We saw on the flop, it was checking better hands a lot. So I guess because it can still have aces, kings, things like pocket queens, etc. We can't raise because it's on the flop. It's done quite a lot of checking. We go back to this. What's it checking on the flop? It's so what's its checking range? Go to this. It's look, all these strong hands it's checking. It's basically it's checking 82% of the range on the flop, which is why we can't raise the river.
Yeah.
But in our games, do we think villains are checking 82%? Because if they're not, then does ace queen become a raise? If we imagine in our games, most of the regs in our games are c-betting aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens at a very high frequency. If we could node lock this to where all these hands are betting 75% of the time, does that then change it so the river becomes a raise with the queen? So I guess that's the question here. Because I don't think the villains in our games are checking aces. If you look how much they're meant to be checking aces here, they're checking aces 80% of the time. Do we think they are? No, it's not happening. I don't think it is. So if they're if we flip them numbers on the head and they're only finding a check with aces, say 20% of the time, and kings and queens, etc., do we now have a value raise versus what we don't have a value raise in GTO, but do we have a value raise in reality? I think maybe we do. So in GTO, I'd get a blunder for raising here, but we can see in this hand exactly, we would have been called and we would have made more money.
Absolutely.
So again, so theoretically we played this hand well, but in practice, I don't know if we maybe could have eked some value out on the river because we assume we can't raise here because of the presence of kings, aces, and things in their range still. If they're not there, all of a sudden their strongest hands become stuff like king, queen, jack, queen, don't they? Ace, queen. If they haven't got kings, aces, kings, queens, and things because of the way they played the flop, all of a sudden maybe they have jack 10, but would jack 10 bet this size on the river? Probably not. So therefore, do we now just have a value raise because they're looking like they've got king, queen, jack, queen, that type of thing? And that's a question I don't know the answer to, but I think probably in practice we can raise that. But this is why I like doing this stuff, because it just makes you think about, theory, I like what you're telling me, but practice, my peers aren't checking that flop. So therefore, even though you're giving me 2 ticks, I'm thinking I could have maybe done something different. And that's what I like about this process so much. Next hand, ace jack. Open, call. I think we can probably go either way here, squeeze or fold. I imagine it's mixing it. I don't think it'll be pure. I end up going with squeeze here. Call. It's very similar to the hand you played in your last video, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So it's going to be another hand there. I'm almost certain now, no matter what I do, it's going to come up with a red circle because I am atrocious in these spots. And honestly, I'm not even going to say what I think I should do because I just don't know. So I'm just going to wait and see what the fucking solver says. Let's see what I actually did. I went with half pot.
Half pot, yeah.
I got jammed on. I already know I don't fold because there's not a chance I'm folding top pair, top kicker in a 3-bet pot. Not in a million. I mean, we're probably just fucked here, but I'm not folding. This could be a monumental punt from me. And he did have the slow play. Fair play to him.
Right.
You know, and I guess I like his slow play because he's not closing the action. So he probably wants Villain to come along too. So yeah, I got put royally in the bin there. And I think Solver's going to absolutely give me a massive bollocking too. So before we click analyze, Simon was going to ask a question. So what were you going to ask, fella?
Just about his all in there on your flop to your flop bet.
Just whether he should do it.
Yeah, just seems. Yeah, it seems quite excessive.
I guess he's just hoping I've got queens or aces or something, isn't
it? Yeah.
You know? Sorry, queens or kings, so he can just get the fucking lot straight away.
Yeah. I mean,
and also the board is like there's lots of bad turns for him. If a 9 comes, a jack, queen, king. There's not that many. On this run out, he could just go call, can't he, forever?
Yeah.
But I guess there's some turns he didn't want to see. I'd be interested to see if Solver raises because he will have aces sometime in his range. He won't have fucked up by just calling pre. So we are going to get to see what aces wants to do when we go into the analysis. But I'm expecting something red in the moment. Oh fuck me! It's not red. It's not red. I was expecting a bollocking. So squeeze it likes it, and we got the right size as well apparently. Call. We should be doing a lot of checking, and this is what I just don't understand about any of this shit. I just like, top pair, top kicker with a 3-bet pot, mate. Of course I want to bet. But he does want us to bet some of the time, and when we do bet, we picked the most. No, we didn't quite mix. Actually, all in. It goes all in more than it does this, but whatever.
Wow.
So let's have a quick study of this spot. So we go to here. Yeah, eventually wakes up. Flop, big blind here. So we're checking 75%. Like this ace jack just always, but ace queen wants to bluff. Obviously, queens is just like, yeah, I'm all in, mate. That's nice. I love just being able to rip queens here. I really like that. I'm not sure I love being able to rip fucking queen 10 as well. Queen 10 just like, yeah, I'm all in, mate. 3x pot. Deal with it. Fucking, this is why I like doing this sort of thing because it just allows you to do random fucking shit. And, like aces sometimes. Aces can go all in here sometimes. Like, yeah, I'm all in. Aces with the hearts, like I'm all in. For some reason, aces with spades and diamonds. I never understand why these fucking suits are like this because aces with hearts and spades can just rip. But aces with hearts and diamonds can't. Aces, diamond. I don't understand how all these suits work. But yeah, look, you can just rip aces at some frequency. You can just say, fuck you, I'm all in with me fucking double gut shot. I'm all in with me queens. But top pair, top kickers, fucking not. It's just bonkers. I mean, why is ace queen allowed to put 1,000,000 fucking chips in and ace jack isn't? I just don't get it, Simon. Just don't get it.
I don't.
and in theory, there's probably very good reasons. In the real world, I suspect many of them don't stand up. But we did end up going with bet here. He does have aces. You can see he has aces at probably 25% frequency calling, maybe 20% frequency. And then he just goes all in with them. Not all the time. Maybe he's doing it pure, maybe he isn't, but he does go all in with them sometimes.
Yeah.
And quite often he's just his most frequent play with aces is call, but when he's not calling, he is jamming. So, yep, I like his line. And when he does jam, are we meant to call aces base? Are we meant to call ace jack? Yeah.
Yeah.
We are, but not all the time. We're meant to call it ace jack of spades calls 100%. So, yeah. Our global frequency here is only calling 64. Guess when we get it with top pair, top kicker, we can't fold, which is why I've got the ticks. But I think in practice, I think I probably should fold, to be honest with you. King Queen is bluffing us. I guess we can't fold because King Queen Ace Queen might be in there as well. Maybe we can't fold. Maybe because that always used to be the golden rule back in the day. If you flop top kicker in a 3-bet pot, you just don't fold. You just like you get the money in. But I thought maybe in this day and age you didn't, but that's just told us that we in this particular instance we are. Whether that's always true, I guess I'll find out over time. But in this instance, we shouldn't have bet, but we should have. Once we bet, we should call it off. I wonder if when we
the check confuses me there.
Yeah, we're going to see if we do check. And then what's he meant to do with aces? He's meant to bet aces nearly all the time. And what's his most frequent size? Half pot. So what are we meant to do against half pot? With ace jack. No, we start raising it, don't we? We call some. The ace jack of spades just calls. And then the ace jacks with backdoor flush draws, I guess, aren't. Because backdoor diamonds aren't raising, backdoor clubs aren't raising. So I guess if we've got like ace jack suited with the backdoor, we just call. When we don't have a backdoor, we're just like, yeah, whatever, we raise. And once we raise, we're never folding, so we know we're committing, don't we? So that's like something to learn. Flop top pair top kicker with backdoors, we just check call it. We flop top pair top kicker with no backdoors, maybe we just check raise it. So yeah, we're learning. We're learning, fella. Whether we can apply it all, who knows?
Well, yeah, that's...
You know, but that's the thing. You hopefully, like I say, hopefully you learn little bits and pieces here and there. And maybe I learn things doing this, and I see things. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And maybe the next session, I'm only applying 1% of the stuff that I've learned from this. But like I say, if you're doing it every single day, and you just keep adding layers and layers to your knowledge, you have to be. If you're not improving compared to field, you have to be at least keeping up a bit better than people who aren't doing it at all, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess. And this is why I give you such a bollock, because you don't do any of this ever. I know you don't.
No.
And then you get frustrated with your results. But if you're not doing it, then you are just going to keep falling behind. I'm not saying you got to do it as anally as I do, because I've got no fucking life. You're a busy businessman. You've got kids that I think are still relatively young of you.
Well, 22 and 18. So
all right,
yeah,
no, maybe not as much then. But you're a far busier man than me. I am not. I do me 16 hours a week with Quinn, which I would never stop doing for a million years. I just love doing it. It's not even work. And then outside of visiting family, I don't leave the fucking sofa. So I've got all the time in the world to be an obsessive cunt, whereas I get you haven't. So you can't do as much as me, but it shouldn't stop you trying to do at least a little bit of study.
Yeah,
just to stay sharp. When you can't play, when you've got maybe like 45 minutes, like I haven't got time to play a session, but I have got time to have a play around, and maybe even it's just reviewing your own hands and posting them to a Discord. Because I'm not saying you should go and spend 70 quid a month on GTO Wizard, because you wouldn't get enough use out of it. It would be a waste of money. But you could post hands, and then people like me could run them in GTO Wizard and give you like opinion answers and also factual answers. And there's nothing stop when you are like, oh, I've got half an hour to kill, I haven't got enough time to play. Why not just then at that point? Like, well, let's just have a look at some hands I've played, post them, and get some feedback from people who can put them into solvers for me. So I'm getting some feedback that way. There's things you can do. You don't have to be quite as inactive as you are when you're not playing, I don't think. We've 3-bet the King Queen off, which I think is mandatory. Get a call. Another one of these 3-bet pots, so I'm not going to know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to be waiting to be told. I think here I would just bet quite often, even though there's like flush draw on the board. I don't think this. A lot of people would describe this board as wet and dynamic, but it isn't really. If you think about his range, he doesn't have any straight draws here. Well, maybe he does. Maybe he has gut shots with the 6-5s and the 5-4s. He maybe has some flush draws, some backdoor flush draws, but he also has two combinations of suited cards that are just completely bricked. So I'm going to class this flop as being relatively dry, and I am going to want to make I'm not going to want to make a third. I'm going to want to use half potish. So I'll go with 1/3. There you go. Well played, Reg. Yeah. I'm just doing a fucking Tommy. But this is why we do this. I think this size isn't good. I think we should use a bigger size than this. And who knows? Maybe when we'll review it, he'll say you should have checked, Reg, you fat cunt. And then I'd be double wrong. You know. Turn jack. Don't like that. I think we should probably start checking. Another flush draw is presented. He can have pocket jacks. He can have queen jack. Some straight draws have come. I don't think we want to continue building this pot. So what do? I bet this is I think this is pretty bad. I think we should just check. He calls Rivers Break.
Mm.
And now I decide to try and block.
Block, yeah.
Yeah, and this is if I don't get a bollocking for this, I'd be stunned. Because now what am I blocking for here? What are you doing, Reg? This is fucking awful. I think it is. Who knows? But we'll see. It feels awful. He calls, and we can't fold because we just invited him to bluff us with flush draws. So I call anyway, and he just flops a set, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the result. What I care about is exactly how much I fucking slaughtered it. So, we've got the red circle, Simon.
Yeah.
Surprise, is it? And let's see where we start getting the red circle. Only on the river. We're okay until the river. We're getting ticks, and the river's just a fucking absolute clusterfuck. But I'm interested on like the sizing here, because I said I think this is like going to bet a lot, and it's going to use bigger sizes, and that's just not true. It's just not true. It's checking way more than I expected it to.
Yeah.
See,
that's.
But again, like, what are we checking here? Like, if we go to the study bit again, what am I meant to be checking here? I guess I'm meant to be checking a lot of overpairs and stuff, I presume. If we're checking at such a high frequency. So we've got small blind. Yeah, we're checking range 78% here. So our checks, we're checking a lot of aces, checking a lot of kings, checking all our top sets, checking jacks, checking, yeah. Maybe because, like, I don't know. Is it because these hands don't want to bet? Like, they're quite prevalent in our range. We got quite a lot of other stuff like ace jack off, ace 10 off. Maybe it's because, like, we have loads of, like, ace jack suited that don't want to bet, king jack suited, all these king 10s, jack 10s, and all this stuff. Maybe because we have all this stuff, our range wants to check, so then we have to check the good hands too. Maybe I just need to do a hell of a lot more range checking than I am. Because we just have so much stuff on the queen high board. I thought that felt pretty good. I reckon if we change this to king high, I reckon it probably does a lot more checking. Can we do this in this? I don't know if we can or not. If we change this to the king, do we do a lot less checking on a king high board? Yeah, look, all of a sudden it changes massively on the king high board to like just only checking 1.2%. So like king high boards, we can just range bet, queen high boards, and I guess we change that to a jack high board, which could be range checking. So we get rid of that king and change it to a jack. And all of a sudden, so why all of a sudden why does aces favour betting? Why do our aces and kings all of a sudden favour betting on this? Maybe more because there's more to get value from on a jack high board. I don't know. I don't understand. Again, but this is why it's interesting to do this, because I presume like the lower the top card, maybe the more checking he wants to do. 10 of diamonds. A little bit maybe, but he just seems on the queen high specific he wants to. It's checking a lot. I guess, generally speaking, outside of king high boards where it bets a lot. I wonder if it's an ace. One last one. Yeah, it's doing a lot of checking again on ace high boards. So I guess king high boards, that's what I've heard a lot. We just do a lot of c betting on king high boards. I've heard like a lot of people who study theory just saying that on random streams and stuff. King high boards doing a lot of betting, and maybe we're just doing a lot less betting on anything that isn't king high. So maybe that's in terms of like, I'm not going to nail these spots straight away, but in terms of like one step forward, in terms of when I'm auto c betting these spots, is just think more about, right, well, king high boards, we know we can range bet, and maybe for the time being, I'm best just range checking other boards until I get a better feel for the spot through more and more study. Maybe that would be my takeaway from today, would be, right, if a 3-bet out of position, auto c-bet king high flops, just as a rule, because, it's a simplification for the time being. And then ace high boards, c-bet them a little bit more, and then queen high, jack high, etc., maybe c-bet them a little bit less. And that's just, it's a small adjustment that's going to make me a little bit better than I currently am until I keep doing this and figure out what's even better than that. So this is kind of how I'm using these spots, just to like, what can I do a little bit better? I'm not looking to jump from being absolutely shit in these spots to being a fucking genius overnight. You can only do this in baby steps because there's so many different hands we can have, so many different combinations of boards that you're not going to be able to make a big leap in one day. But like I say, just one by one, just be like, right, okay, maybe I'm just overdoing the auto c-bet, and that we talked about in your video.
Yeah.
And all those
Yeah.
shit regs do it. Oh, 3-bet, I'm out of position. Let's just do 1/3, see what happens. And usually you're going to get an okay tick for that. But it's rarely going to be the best play. And when it is the best play, it's just the best play by chance, not by us actually thinking it through properly. So yeah, that's what I've taken away from this for the time being. And again, it might not be the best takeaway, but it still represents a slight improvement on what I'm doing. Anyway, let's see how we butchered the rest of the hand. Turn, I was saying we should do a lot of checking, which it's the most favoured option.
Yeah.
When we are betting, I chose the
Oof.
least favourite size. We still got a tick for it. But when I was reviewing it, I did instinctively want to check. So I'll give myself half a pass for that. And then river, it's just wanting jam or check.
Yeah.
And I decided to piss around blocking, which is just fucking dog shit, isn't it? As soon as I saw it, I'm
It's
like,
just-
what have you
yeah.
done there, Reg?
Just
What
never
have
does
you
it, does it?
fucking done? No, it never does. It's shit. That's why. It's
Mm.
fucking absolute dog shit. Because the guy's just gonna fucking jam on us a lot. He's gonna, we're gonna miss value from hands we're ahead of. He's gonna jam on us a lot, and we have to call anyway. And yeah, we just want to maximise our EV against Queen 10 and stuff, I guess. So when we go all in here, I guess we're trying to maximise EV against like Queen X, Jack X, etc. So on the river. So how did we fucking play it? So we can butcher this through. We bet 1/3 flop, didn't we?
That's not the right flop, is it? Was it?
Oh, no,
wasn't
it's not, is it? Right, so hang on, yeah, let's get all this shit out of there again. Do this. It's hard being me, mate. It's not fucking easy being me. So, river, if we do go all in, which we're meant to do, he's meant to call all these hands. King, Queen, which I think we're chopping with, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ace, Queen, which we're losing to. He calls with King, Jack. He calls with Ace, Jack. Calls with Queen, Jack. Calls with Queen, 10. Then, yeah, so that's why we just jam, because, yeah, fine, we've been ourselves sometimes, but we also get value. And I don't think it's said, it's like, I don't think there's a huge difference between check and bet. There's like EVV terms, but there won't be. This is always meant to give us equilibrium, isn't it? Obviously, if we shift this, if we start checking 80%, then we're making these are only perfect. These are only like perfectly the same option if we use the correct percentages. If we use like the correct frequencies. So I guess the more we lean towards all in, the lower EV it becomes. If we always shove here, then it's probably too low EV. Right, let's do another one, shall we? How much more time have you got, by the way, sir? I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay. Yeah.
I don't want you to be like thinking shit and need to go, but I don't want to be rude.
I've got another 15 minutes. I'd say.
Right, okie dokie. We opened the 10-9. Let's do this. So I'm wasting my time here. So we'll just skip on to the next one, because we've had someone calling a non-existent GTO spot, and they've got a non-existent GTO stat. So stack, so fuck it. I'm not even wasting my time looking at that one. Ace Jack off, we open, button flats, flop ourselves a top pair. I'm pretty sure we can check or bet small here, but I think there's going to be a mix of options here. Check, bet small, use larger bets, versus someone who's playing 77 chip stack. They're going to be a fish more often. So I think I prefer leaning towards larger bets. But let's see what I actually did. I checked.
Yeah.
He bets a raise, which I think if we are checking, we probably do want to raise this sometimes, but how often I don't know. He calls, turn king, we check, he checks, we reduce. Now do we have a block? Or do we just have a check? I don't know. I go with block, he calls. So let's see what he thinks of that. I mean, I think check raise, I think we're going to be all right. I don't think it's going to bollock us for check raise. I think it's going to be in there. Maybe it might not be the highest frequency player by a long way, but I don't think it's going to be a blunder. I think turn check after check raising flop. I don't know, to be honest with you, because he shouldn't have that much King X. I guess King Jack is the obvious one that springs to mind. King X and spades as well, I guess. I think river, after turn checks through, maybe river's just a bigger bet. Maybe we don't block, because you wouldn't imagine he checks back a king very often on the turn. So therefore, our jack just becomes really strong again, doesn't it? So maybe we don't block the river. But let's see. I might be just talking shit. Oh, we got an inaccuracy, which isn't as bad as a blunder. It's not as bad as a red one. I can live with orange ones a little bit. Obviously, the race is pretty standard. Flop, check. It's the highest EV play. It doesn't go as big as I would have wanted, but it's not playing against a 77 chip stack probable fish. So maybe if you were to like tell Sober this guy's fucking useless, it would have different strategy. We check. It bets. Yeah, we are check raising. It's the highest option. And we
So
don't get. Our size is a bit bigger. I mean, this is just saying 50%. I've obviously used bigger. I've used my 60% button here. That's why we've gone to 17. But I'm happy with that. We've hit the right frequency. We're not miles off on the size. It's saying I've put a pot size. I haven't put a pot size raising. It's chose because that's saying we're raising to 19. We're not raising to 17. So yeah, I'll probably hit the 75% button here, I guess, because this seems to be right in between these two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that.
It's closer to the bigger size, isn't it? That's why I think.
Yeah. Then we'll clear check turn. Happy days. And river, we should check again apparently. Right, okay. So I'm massively blundering there. I don't understand why we're checking again there. I mean, against a fish, we're definitely not checking again. Maybe against a reg, maybe we are. But like, what are they checking back the turn? We're scared to bet into. Let's see. So what's their turn check back range look like that we should be worried about? Turn king check. So like, what are they checking here? Why is it not showing up what they're fucking checking here? Is that because they're just checking everything almost? No, they're checking 49%. All right, so if we showed, why are none of these things coming up in fucking like nice colourful boxes over here?
I have no idea.
Neither have I, mate. Neither have I. But what are they checking here? They're not checking a set very often. They're not checking two pairs very often. They check your second pair a lot. Checking back under pairs a little bit. Checking back some top pairs. I guess because they're checking back some two pairs and top pairs. Maybe. I don't fucking know. So if we like carry on this hand as we did, so on the river we block, what are they meant to be calling with versus this block? I guess they're calling me straights. I didn't even notice a straight got there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're calling me sets. They're calling me two pairs. Calling me top pair, which we don't beat. Yeah, they just in theory world, they're just not calling with enough hands, are they? Like basically everything they call with has us beat.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they don't, because they're jamming all them. Top pair has us beat. Under pair doesn't have us beat. I'm actually talking shit here. But I guess they just have this stuff too often. I guess that's what the problem is. Yeah, they're not calling versus it, they're jamming versus it, aren't they?
Yeah.
So versus the calling range, we're not doing too bad, but they're just going to have too many jams. I guess that's why it's not wanting river block. So if we check river, villain now bets, and I guess it would probably, its size would, let's just say, how much is in the pot? It's only 45 blinds in the pot. So let's just say it goes with a big bet. Are we then calling with this hand? What do our calls end up being? Our calls end up being some over pairs and some top pairs and a little bit of second pair. So yeah, I guess we're just doing quite a lot of like check for. Are we folding second pair ever? Yeah, we're folding second pairs. Yeah. Not very often though. Our exact hand here. Ace jack of what ace jack do we have? Can't remember what ace jack we have. Where's it at? Is it at, you cunt? Ace jack off actually. Ace jack off. I'm not asked about suits. Overall, what's ace jack off typically doing? Calling zero, calling way more than it's folding in. It's a fuck suits. I'm not asked about suits. So we would call versus that size. Would we call versus all in? With ace jack off. Yeah, we're just calling it off, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're just still just calling it off. So I guess it just prefers check call to block. That's what we've taken from that one. I thought we could value bet because we're up against a fish. Against a reg, I still think I'd try and value bet sometimes, and it's going to be a lot bigger mistake against a reg than it is a fish. But against a fish, I'm not too worried about it being too much of a big mistake, I don't think. Next one, pocket jacks. Open 3-bet, I presume, yep. And, now we get a 4-bet. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus. Fold? Is it fold? Cut off? 4-betting? Jacks? Small blind?
It could, yeah, I think it could be. Don't know.
I don't think it's a jam.
No.
It might be a jam, but I don't think it's a jam. I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to end up doing the cally thing and just look to try and find a safe flop. Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, then we flopped top set. So happy days. Yeah, well played, Reg. Check. Bet. Oh, I remember this. Because I went for a tiny check raise and this guy lost his mind in the emojis and he started fucking like laughing and clapping a smiley face. As you could tell, he was really triggered. But I actually think he probably made a good fold because I'm pretty sure I went for the time. I just thought this guy's got aces here. We're deep as shit. I want to get money in. And the problem is the solver won't, because it only does it for 100 bigs. It's not going to understand the depth here, so we're not going to get as much on this as we can. And I guess that's probably why I called pre, or more reason why I called pre, because look how deep we're deep as shit. So I raise here because we've got top set and I want to build the pot. He started clapping, and I think he probably just folded an overpair and absolutely binned me. Because I made this raise, not even 3x raise. He went in the tank, and like I say, it started just on party. It's like a big pop-up smiley face. It was doing the slow, sarcastic clapping and shit. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, you're folding that, you mate, and you're probably folding a very good hand, and I just a cunt, and he did just fold. When we'll pop it in, because I'm interested in terms of if we're 100 bigs deep, what's the line pre here, cut off versus small blind, because I think it's a close spot. But as for post flop, it's not going to be able to tell us very much because the stack depths are weird. Results may be inaccurate. Large gap between actual depth and solve depth. Right? Okay. Yeah. Well, we thought that was going to be the case anyway, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we do 3-bet, 4-bet. There's all in. It much prefers all in to call. But here's the thing here that I always look at in these spots. Willem's 4-bet range in GTO world. Looks like this. King 5 suited. The fucking 72% of the time. Not in my games.
No, definitely not.
King 4 suited, 21%. No. Ace 8, Ace 7, probably not. I think there's a bit more of this than, because people just know, don't they? All those shit regs know. I go to 4-bet bluff Ace 5 or Ace 4. Ace 10 suited. No, that's just pure calling, I'd imagine, for most regs. King Jack suited, not 4-betting in our games. Ace Jack off, probably not 4-betting very often. So imagine if we could take out the Ace 8, the Ace 7, the King 5, the King 4, the King 10 suited. I don't think any of these hands 4-betting position.
No.
I think they fold or they call. I'm not saying King 10 suited is folding, but I don't think it's 4-betting at 65% frequency. King 9, not happening. I think Jacks is calling pure, close to. Queen's probably calling more than 40%. So I think if you narrow their 4-bet range down to more of just these 4 hands here, with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and then maybe some of that, I think it shifts these. I think it shifts these frequencies. Maybe it doesn't shift them, but it maybe shifts them to 50-50 rather than being so massively in favour of just 5-bet jamming here. I think in reality, when we 5-bet jam here, we get looked up by Queens plus and Ace King.
Yeah.
And we get looked up a lot of the time because that's what they've got a lot of the time. They've just got Queens plus and Ace King. and maybe ace queen suited looks it up too. I don't think we ever get it in here against tens, or not often enough.
No.
We're either flipping. I remember that when I used to talk to Will quite a lot, the streamer Jack Ten of Diamonds. He used to have a phrase: "We're either flipping or fucked." I think we jam here. I think we're flipping or fucked most of the
Yeah.
time. I think we have very, very limited fold equity, and against a range that calls, we're just never in good shape. Anyways, we move along. We called. We checked. We apparently we're supposed to donk this flop most of the time. Really, just flop top set and donk. Yeah, fair enough. You know, if I was in position here, and this flop came down the 4-bet pot, and a reg donked this flop, I'd be like, yeah, you're fucking shit, mate, aren't you? And look at it, it's just like, yeah, 80% is doing the right thing. And I'd be like, what are you doing, you absolute shit bastard? What are you donking a jack-eye dry flop for, you fucking cretin? I would be livid. Imagine if, like, when we used to watch Duesenberg on a Monday night and someone donked into him here on this board, he'd be calling them every kind of glue sniffer he could lay his tongue to. Apparently, it's just the right thing to
It's
do.
the right thing to do.
When he checks, yeah, we just call pure. We just never raise.
Right.
But that's not a line for depth, so whatever. Yeah. Right, we'll do one more because I know you want to get away.
Okay.
So we'll ignore that one now because it was too deep anyway. It's an interesting one to finish up on. Jack 4 suited. I open. Call. Flop a flush draw on an ace queen high board. I think I'm going to be doing some checking and some betting here. I'm going to do bet. I don't suppose I'm going to use a big size. That's how I think I would typically approach this spot.
Yeah.
He calls, turn a 9, which is kind of a brick. So I think I should be moving into check or like overbet territory here. It's kind of a brick. It doesn't really change very much. Some two pairs. It hasn't. There's no straights come in. Ace 9's improved. Basically, all one pair on the flops improved with the 9 because like 7-9 is there. Queen now, yeah. So I think we're checking and overbetting, I think. I'll go with the overbet. He min raises.
Well,
I guess we're just calling. Oh, I fold. Reg, why aren't we calling there? That's bad. But that's why they're in here, Simon.
yeah.
There's some reason I just decided I didn't have the we're clearly getting the right odds to draw to a flush. Because we what do we need? Equity. Actually, we're not. To draw to a flush, we've only got like 18% equity, maybe 20. So we're not quite getting the right odds. But if you make a flush, you'd imagine we make a few more chips. So I think this is a bad fold. I don't remember the hand. I imagine in a spot like this, I'll get the sort of feeling that you'll go through a lot. Is why you don't open these hands. This is why I don't open these hands because I get in fucking stupid spots with them. And also, I mean, I've overbet and he's raised.
Yeah.
You know. But we just have so we should just call. I mean, what on earth wants to raise versus overbet here? Just the nuts, I would imagine. Something nutted. But that means we have so much implied odds when we hit a flush. You know, if we just hit a flush that doesn't pair the board, we just get a lot of money, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is bad. But I guess I've just been pissed off with myself because this isn't a pure open for me. I know it isn't. This must be someone I thought's particularly tight. Because I don't normally open Jack 4. It's sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But it's certainly not 100% open. So this will be me like fucking hell, Reg. Look at you trying to get fancy. You've opened a hand you don't normally open. You've overbet the fucking turn, thinking you're a fucking rock star, and now you've been punished. And this will have just been me like, just fuck off. And this would have been me tilt folding, I imagine.
Yeah.
So let's see how I should have done things differently. And again, stack depth's going to make this a bit inaccurate. So we just have to assume 100 big steep, which I'm fine with because normally, and what I've actually started doing, because I was getting in those deep stack spots and not knowing what to do, I started rat holing. I got 225 bigs and I just rat holed. Because there's no point, if I'm not playing with any confidence at that higher stack depth, there's literally no point being at that higher stack depth. Now, I know you're not meant to rat hole. It's against terms and conditions. They don't care. They have that. It's another one of them unpoliceable fucking rules. But I guess it isn't policeable. They could just force you to buy back in for the same fucking money within a certain time frame. But they choose not to. So I guess they don't care. But yeah, if you're not, I love the thought of being deep stacked with the fish, but all too often you deep stack with regs. And I just don't think I've got any business playing deep stack with regs. And so we open here. Was it even an open? Apparently we can limp it, but when we're not limping, we're opening. I don't have a small blind limp strategy, so I'm just caught. So I guess somebody's raising pure. He calls. We're meant to just overbet the flop straight away.
Right.
That's the 2-tick option, but obviously ours is fine. But we can check, or we can do decent amount of betting. So we're still in the game. Went with that. He called. Turn. I went with overbet because I thought it would like overbet. It doesn't. It prefers betting still, but it prefers betting just 3/4 pot, which I wish I'd done that because I would have saved some fucking pennies. But it is like choosing my. But what did I? I went 2x pot, didn't it? Just about or something like that, did I?
Was it 16?
I went nearly 2x pot. It's overbet size. It's mostly using. I guess if you combine these two, it's still only overbetting. 17%, so it's just not an overbet. But I did. He raised. Oh, fold! Wow. Go on, Reg.
Yeah.
I tilt folded and I got it right. Get in there. I guess that's just because he's just so polarized. I mean, I don't think he should have much of a raising range there. I mean, my theory is if he is super polarized, then we're just getting all the money on the river when we hit. I mean, I wonder what he's meant to raise there for that to be a pure fold. As played, what does his raising range look like? And then I'll let you go, sir, because I need to put an hour or so in myself for playing. I've not got through all these, but I'm not bothered. So his raising range here is it's a set of 9s.
Yeah.
It's 2 pairs. It's 2 pairs. It's 2 pairs. It's 2 pairs. Yeah. Ace-5 off randomly, whacking itself in there. I guess Ace-5 off with a heart. I guess. Ace of Hearts will it be that's doing it? No, Ace of Hearts is on the fucking board. So why would it's a 5 of Hearts? I think that makes a difference here. No, it just says we're doing it with. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, because I don't fucking know. I have no fucking clue. But I do know that it's very unlikely that Villain's doing it in our game. Off the screen, Ace 3 doing it too. So is Ace Deuce off a little. No, Ace 3 doing it a little bit. Then Ace 3 suited, just randomly popping off there and doing it as well. Ace Deuce. And for some reason, these fucking shitty queens that we know our opponents are never finding.
None of that. They're not finding that. They're finding
they're finding the 2 pairs in the sets, aren't they? That's what they're finding.
Yeah.
The 9-8 off, that's not in there.
No.
So I guess because we fold, because they've probably got like shitty hands in the range that aren't going to pay us off on the river. Because if we call and we hit a flush, we either have to start donking, and then they're just going to fold their Queen X, and they're like Ace X. And if we check, they're just going to check it back. So I guess because there's no way for it to make money on the river when it hits a flush. It just folds because it's seeing the implied as not being there, because all this stuff it's raising that isn't 2 pair plus isn't going to pay off on a heart river. But if we're saying our villains don't have this and they always just have the sets and the 2 pairs, then maybe we have to call because we are getting paid off when we hit a flush.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my takeaway from that. But anyways,
a good fold though.
That was very much an operation of like operation failure, but patience succeeded, because I folded there because I was just like tilted. I was annoyed that I'd played a hand I don't normally play, and I was annoyed that I got fucking fancy with the overbetting and shit, and then I was annoyed because I just got put in the bin with this turn min raise. But yeah, never mind. Right, sir, I shall let you go. You take care. It's been a pleasure catching up. We've spent 3.5 hours talking to each other.
That's good.
I spoke to you more today than I speak to my wife all fucking week. And that I'm not even joking there. And if you added up all the hours I spent saying words to my wife, it might not come to more than 4 hours in a week.
Well, there you go.
There you fucking go. Right, sir. I'll let you go. Take care.
And you, sir. Take care.
Bye, mate.
Bye, mate. Bye.